big DC fans.
Alright. Pandemic Legacy Season 2. When we last left the world, we had saved it. What the fuck happened? Because this is the world we are stuck with now, 71 years later, apparently.
71 years? Holy fuck.
Right?
I didn't realize it was that long.
The world almost ended 71 years ago. The plague came out of nowhere and ravaged the world. Fever, cough, sores, and death. Once infected, most died within a week. Nothing could stop it. The world did its best. It wasn't good enough. The last fragments of our people have desperately kept the world from collapsing completely. For 3 generations, we have lived on the seas, on floating stations they called havens. Far from the plague, we were able to provide supplies to the mainland, antibiotics, food, medicine, and tools, to keep them, and us, from succumbing completely. We keep a network of the largest known cities in the world alive. Things have been tough the past few years. Cities far away from the havens have fallen off our grid. We don't know what's happened to them. We don't know why the supplies aren't reaching them. We only have a few cities left in our grid. We are failing. The supplies aren't keeping the plague away like they used to. What's more, they're running out. Our leadership tried to hide this fact from us, but we all knew. Last week, the leaders and thinkers of the havens gathered together, as they do every year, to discuss the state of the havens and the state of the world. They did not return. What's worse is that our main security team was with them. Without our soldiers, the Hollow Men, roving bands of savages bent on our elimination, will expand their attacks, tearing down what we build and stealing what we offer. Those of us left met on the havens to discuss what to do next. After hours of debate, we realized that all eyes had turned to a select few to lead. Us. Not because not because we were able to lead, but because we are willing. Objection. We are starting this journal to record our attempts to keep the world from ending. We know we can't save all the cities, but we will do what we can to save most of them. If we fail, we hope that someone somewhere finds these notes to know that we may not have succeeded, but that we tried.
So I want to point out that I'm assuming these white ones are the havens, and they're unnamed.
Yes, that is one of the first things we will do when we are setting up.
I have a suggestion. There are 3 of us.
Yes.
There are 3 havens.
I'm aware.
I pronounce this James Estrade.
So, because this game works a little bit differently than actual Pandemic, it's advised that we run a couple prologue, like 1 or 2 prologues, just to kind of get the feel for how the mechanics work, and we will do that. So those are going to use this single objective.
Where the hell are the objectives? Oh, okay, in front of me, okay. Where they always went.
And then there's the journal entry prologue card here. We'll get to that in a second.
Sure.
The prologue game has no legacy effects. There are no permanent changes of name things. You should play the prologue at least once, as many times as you want to. Feel comfortable with the new gameplay. After that, you should start your legacy campaign. So we use the 2 prologue cards, this one and that one. And then read the journal entry for background information when rules are different for the prologue game.
You'd also insist this time let's not skip commas.
So it's play using all the rules except do not open the legacy deck. Your character cannot get exposed. You can't do the recon action. You can't do system-wide production when you place produce supply cards. Do not do the game end steps.
Exposed?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That sounds like
when you have played the prologue enough times to feel comfortable, destroy this card and the prologue objective card. Open the legacy deck and start your campaign. get right in there.
Yeah. I'm last grade because this surprised you last time. Do you remember what destroy means for these cards?
Before the prologue, create the 5 starting characters. So let's just run down real quick. Component overview. Objectives are objectives. And we have somewhere here we have a little black disc to keep track of our progress on that. Dossiers are things over here that we're not going to open. Packages are in here that we're also not going to open. The reserve, the area in the game box you keep cards, stickers, pieces that aren't active part of the game but might be needed during or after a game. Rationed and unrationed events are the same kind of thing as last time, where instead of funding we have rationing levels.
Sure.
And they're functionally identical. We only have rationed events right now. Eventually we will find unrationed events, which are 1 use. They go in the deck, use them, they get burned.
Ooh, so what I'm hearing is don't use them before we lose.
Tracking tokens, card stickers, turning point cards. Supply cubes are these very things. They're the good guys.
Oh, those are the good guys.
Yeah. Plague cubes are these green things. We don't ever want to see them.
We will be seeing a lot of them.
Supply centers are these things. These were what used to be research stations and currently are our objective. We need to build 3 of these stupid things to win.
We won't be seeing a lot of plague cubes. There are only 8 of them.
Yeah, well, once the 8th one hits the board, we lose.
Yeah, I've sort of figured that much. I mean,
and then there are produce supply cards in the deck. We'll get to that later.
as a side note, Ray, the decks are not as small as you feel like they would be with this few cities.
There are multiple copies. So here's the infection deck. Istanbul. Cairo. Tripoli. There's 3 of everything.
I won't be biased, but if Istanbul falls, I will not be as sad.
There are 3 of everything because it's so small right now?
Yeah, currently. There are our good friends, the epidemic cards. There are the 4 ration events we currently have. The produce supplies cards, and there are a couple different variations on that, how many times they can be used before they get killed. And
Are those in those decks?
These are all player cards. And then there's Istanbul, Cairo. There's 4 of everything. So
There are 12 cities of each color. Because there's 4 of each and there's 3 cities of each color. And then we have our 3 blank cards, which...
Alright, so locations. Cities and havens together are referred to as locations. Any card that specifically talks about a city cannot be used on a haven and vice versa. So the 3 white ones are the havens.
Sure.
They're the ones we have to name. At the beginning of your campaign, name the 3 havens on the board. Be cool and come up with a name together. Get this out of the way. Each location has a population, the square thing next to it. Determine how many supply cubes are placed there when using a special card that says to place them there.
Okay.
They range from 0 to 8. That's not the maximum capacity, it's just how much they produce when a card tells them to.
Okay.
Giant will stick in a box.
Your pen is open? Okay, your pen's no longer open.
Supply lines. Although there are no supply lines at the beginning of the game, cities will be connected to each other across land by supply lines. Sure. Cities directly connected by a supply line are adjacent. Sea lanes and sea routes. Locations connect to each other on the ocean are sea lanes. Oceans directly connected by a sea lane are adjacent. A series of connected sea lanes is called a sea route. The grid. The board is largely empty as the world is mostly unknown to you. The grid refers to any location that can be connected to the starting havens. So, God forbid, like, this path and this path go away, I guess this would fall off the grid.
Ah. Yee.
I don't know what is in store for us in that department, but...
I want to point out, London may fall off the grid very easily.
Yeah, I can see that. It's literally connected to the haven by one other card. Not by one group. This one is the only one holding these guys down. So Paulo has a sea lane to nowhere, which is cute.
Yeah, that concerns me. There's going to be a lot of stickers on this board.
Oh, there's going to be a ton of stickers on this board.
And it splits. And
Expanding the grid. As you explore the world, you will expand the grid. Whenever you open a sticker that expands the world map, add that sticker to the board, aligning it with the latitude and longitude lines. So I guess they'll be gridded just the same way. So we kind of...
Except there's going to be a split halfway through one.
I'm assuming they've established that. I'm assuming they've planned for that.
I mean,
I would hope.
I assume nothing.
Objectives, areas, self-explanatory. If you ever have more objectives than you can fit into the section, place them next to the board. I don't think that should be a problem.
I mean, it theoretically almost was last time.
January will start with 2 objectives when we actually go to the campaign proper. It looks like it's going to be go quickly escalate to 3 in March, and then be 3 until October, which will quickly dwindle down. Yeah. Also, the projected supplies are how many supply cubes we start with in the stockpile, and those numbers go down fast. There are currently 36.
I know, I'm trying to figure out how many cubes there actually are.
36.
Oh, wait, did you count them already?
Yeah, that's what the instruction says.
Okay.
And there are exactly 8 play cubes and 36 of those things. Game end area, which we will not need during Prologue. During game, you may be instructed to put cards into the game end area. At the game's end, remove all cards from this area and follow instructions on each of them, and if we have a lot of them, we do them in numerical order. So the oldest one's probably Washington first. The incident track. That's one way we lose.
Of the, what, 12?
Keep track of how many times the play cube has been placed into a location. Even if a card or ability removes these cubes from the world, the incident marker never moves backwards. When it reaches the end of the track, the players immediately lose the game. The only other way we lose right now is running out of the deck.
Okay. I'm going to sneeze soon, actually, warning.
The supply cube stockpile. Where supply cubes go, the players can keep track of how many are left and easily reach them. Unless the card effect says otherwise, cubes are taken from and returned to the stockpile. And you can actually hold cubes on your character card.
Oh, can you really?
Yeah, you can. That's how you bring them from place to place.
That makes sense.
At the end of the game, return all supply cubes in the stockpile to the reserve. They do not carry over from game to game. Characters. Alright, so we should probably name these havens.
Are we each naming one, or are we going to work
Yeah,
together?
as well. Does this pen write on this board, or do we need a marker?
You can try.
Which one are you calling James' stand?
The one nearest closest home.
Yep, that works. I'll name this one.
What'd you name?
That's Gloucester.
Gloucester?
And Ray gets the one out in the middle of the Atlantic. Oh, the camera moved a little bit too. Can't be helped.
What's Gloucester?
Because a bastard is way to spell my hometown.
Ah, okay, good enough.
Just name it to be Ray's Harbor.
Ray's Harbor.
Ray's Harbor.
I'm gonna go to Ray's.
That should be the first to go to the main game.
I mean, I don't want you to go. You're holding on to 2 of those cities.
Alright, so we have to make characters. Characters have little experience outside the havens. Perhaps they've never seen the mainland at all, but they will grow into something more. Players do not need to play the same character each game. For the prologue, create the 5 starting characters. So, to create a character, as you play the campaign, you may find new character cards that will use the other 5 character cards. We have 10 of these things, clearly. So, pick 5 that will be used for these starting 5 characters.
Does it matter?
It might, but we don't know.
Wait, what information is on these things?
Nothing, they're blank.
Oh, well, then it shouldn't fucking matter.
It does, because whatever is buried underneath those exposure tracks
Oh,
might be
shit!
different. And then this one, and this one.
Sure.
Alright. Choose a job.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
So each one of these is going to be one job, so just take a job and assign them to one character for now. I have whatever this guy. This guy is going to be the administrator.
When I found the instructor.
Put that in the top.
Where?
Just the very first skill box here. That's like their base power.
Oh, okay.
And we have the farmer, and the very top box. Yeah.
This one up here, next to the photo lab. I found the laborer. I feel like I'll be being the laborer a lot. That sounds like a job I would do. Get over here.
Alright. Choose an image sticker for your character and place it as your character card's photo. So we have 10
More than 10.
things.
Oh, we have 10 people, yes.
Well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We have 16 images, basically equivalent males and females. So you're going to take a character, you're going to name the character and give them an age, and choose one of the named havens as their home.
That concerns me.
What should really concern you is the box underneath the home.
Yes, yes. Place it down. That also concerns me.
Let me get a couple more things. This one I know works. This one should work.
This one you can yours. Who am I going to sacrifice?
Do I want to make the farm? I'm gonna make like you can have the administrator. Like I don't know. Like we can choose which character we want to make. Like we're gonna have to make all 5 of them, but
Let's see laborer too.
so yeah, that's kind of important. The administrator is really useful because it says once per turn as an action move a pawn to any other pawn. That's like the old dispatcher.
Laborer, you may build a supply center. You may do the build supply center with 1 of your cards.
But
If
it
you
costs you
spend
2
2
cubes. Yeah.
2 cubes, yeah.
Farmer once per turn when doing the make supplies action, you may do the deliver supplies action for free. The radio operator, when you do the transfer supplies free action, you may give or take supply cubes from a player in any location instead of a player in your own location.
And the instructor can give any card
Instead of the card of the matching city, right? Oh, we're gonna have to make them all.
Yeah.
That looks like a farmer. I don't know. None of them look like farmers. They all look like Mad Max movies.
Yeah, they do. Pick up board. I want this one. I want it, but it would give it to me. There we go. Alright. That's the instructor, yes.
This guy will be the radio operator.
How can I tell which is this supposed to be male or is this supposed to be female?
I'm assuming that one's female.
We don't know.
I mean, it's hard to tell. Like this one, actually, looking at the long hair and the braids on this one, this one's probably female.
Like, I'm aware this one's a female, but other than that, if you're not sure, give him a gender unbiased name.
Right.
Does that pin right on that?
Hmm?
Does that pin right on that?
Probably.
Have you tried?
No.
Okay.
Are you having problems?
Yep.
I mean, that might just be the pen.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was asking. If you're not sure, then you are the pin right.
Or we need markers.
We may need more.
Because I know that pen.
That one didn't work either?
Alright, marker.
I've made a nice little indentation on my board, but on my character's name.
They don't have a flat marker.
What about this one? The Sharpie.
It's
Oh, do they? Okay.
the guy's fine.
Oh yeah, that's significantly better.
Thor yet?
Yes, we've seen Thor. We saw Thor on.
Green, blue, and purple.
I'm not biased. I'm not unholy biased.
Name and home.
Name, home, age. So this one's from the last time. And which one is she? No.
Yeah, like
This one can go either way. Whatever. Face is covered.
fuck do I name this person?
The radio operator just goes by V.
V.
Can stand for a lot of things. Just V.
It's like H.
They are.
How do they spell H in Ready Player One? Is it A-E-C-H?
AICH.
Hey, now
Look it up. Fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
And V is.
The first name I come to is Chuck.
V is all 22. Andy, the administrator.
A-E-C-H.
Farmer comes from Jamestown. Yeah, like I can write on it with this pen, but it's off.
I'm assuming yours came from Race Harper.
Yeah.
I'll send put the labor from Race Harper too.
Sure. Farmer will be a little bit older, I think. Administrator is 32. James is 25, 22. Alright. Farmer's gonna be 37. Practically dead. The term, but
The laborer is 38. The laborer will not die.
and it's Chuck Norris. Alright, find a picture that matches up to Chuck Norris.
There's no one with a beard.
I mean, you can use the one with the orange thing over its face.
That's true. That's probably correct.
And the farmer is. Name for the farmer. Maggot.
Maggot it is. Yours is Andy.
I've been watching The Hobbit. Alright, which one of these is Maggot the farmer? This guy.
So we have V, Maggot, Chuck Norris, H,
And Andy.
and Andy.
Sure. Alright, do not fill in the place of death. That may come to pass as your character gains exposure, which we will not do during the prologue, so you don't have to worry about that.
Cool. I'm assuming we don't tear them in half then when they die.
I don't think so. That's kind of an interesting wrinkle on that. Alright, so the actual setup. Do not open. So we have to do the regular setup. So the first thing we do is set up the board. The supply cubes, all that good stuff. This thing goes here. Is this one shuffled?
Yes.
Read the legacy deck. Skip. Journal entry. Priorities. We need to complete the following mandatory objective. Build 3 supply centers. We barely got our heads around this mess, and yet now we find ourselves in charge. We're covering ourselves up and heading out to our supply runs to see the front lines and gauge how bad things are. Things are going to get real very soon. The Hollow Men will tear down our supply centers almost as soon as we build them, but we've got to start restoring our presence on the mainland. Speaking of which... Actions.
That's a lot of new actions.
It is. And do we have the player tokens? Yeah. I guess I have pink. I guess I have white. That one. I'll start with the. And you're gonna start in your haven.
Who do you want to start with, Ray? Let's start with H. Alright, so we don't have Chuck Norris or Maggot.
That's to be expected.
Yeah.
Supply the grid. Put all supply cubes from the stockpile on the locations of the grid. You can place any number of supply cubes, including 0, on each location. As the grid grows, there might not be enough supplies in the stockpile to fill all locations. Players will have to decide which locations are in short supply. We're going to distribute them evenly right now.
I mean, we have what, 36?
36, and there are 9, 10, 11, 12, so yeah, 3 and everything.
Yeah, 3 and everything. Because we can put a maximum of.
We can put as many as we want.
Yep.
What are you doing?
James is staying.
James is saying.
Step 4, infect the grid.
Oh, fuck.
Flip over the first 9. Remove 1 cube for each thing.
Cairo. Tripoli. Jacksonville. Lagos.
Yeah, those two.
Oh. Washington. Istanbul. London. Cairo again. Uh-oh. New York.
Alright, so Cairo is kind of our stock. Step 5. There is no step 5.
Is there space for a step 5?
Yes.
Of course there is.
Step 6. Prepare the player deck and deal cards. So, as a group, decide which ration event cards to add to the player deck. Our current ration level is 4. All 4 of these are going in.
Sure.
Resilient population, 1 quiet night, air left, and team Bravo. Take up to 2 supply cubes from the stockpile and put them on any location. Or locations.
Team Bravo was horrible last time. I think no, Team Delta was horrible last
That
time.
was Team Bravo.
It was Team Bravo?
Yeah.
We never saw them, we don't know.
Right. Thank God. In future games, you may find ration and unrationed events. Unrationed events always go into the deck and don't count towards ration.
Okay.
3 players reaching 3 cards. Basically, keep their hands face up at all times, because why not?
So what does your character do?
Once on your turn, as an action, do a pawn to any other pawn.
Oh, okay.
That's going to come in handy, because in the real game, you get exposed if you start your turn in the same place as a play cube.
Oh. Yee. What does your action do?
Whenever I do the transfer supplies free action, I can give or take supply cubes from a player in any location. So normally you can trade supplies for free with each other if you're in the same city. I can just do that.
Okay. And I can, if someone's in the same space as me, I can give them a card.
Give them
as
any
a-
card instead of the
Yeah.
specific card. Or give or take, right?
Give.
You can only
Just
give.
give.
Okay. You're the researcher.
I shall be hellbent.
Alright. New York. London, Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo. Nice shuffle. Lagos,
Didn't shuffle that
Jacksonville. Produce supplies, Lagos. Remember, we cannot use the bottom produce supplies action in the prologue.
Okay.
Alright, add epidemics to the player deck. Yeah, this is the fun part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Light. So this one going on the bottom.
Oh, I hate this infect. So we're trying to keep cubes on instead of keeping cubes off.
Yes. Every time something comes off the infect deck, we lose a cube. If we can't lose a cube, we add a play cube.
Ugh.
And outbreaks as normal, which is basically death. Well, outbreaks as normal is in like, so if this one runs out and we add a play cube, if there are 3 play cubes there, and we add a 4th one, it would radiate out. So we take a cube away from here, take a cube away from here.
Oh, so it's
They're basically like a blade of shields.
so if it was like this, we add one,
If we add 1, that's fine. We get 1 exposure.
and then we try to do another one. We add another one.
Yeah.
But nothing happens.
Right. Yeah.
Except-
It's all we would put the 4th one there that goes berserk. And at that point, we maybe just bone.
I mean, yeah, probably. And that defense, this makes much more sense now. With 0 supplies, that's not insta death.
Alright, select characters. Each player selects a character in player color and takes the corresponding pawn and reference cards. Place each pawn in their home. If there aren't enough characters for all players, some players must play a Haven Worker, which is the old civilian type thing. Begin play. Take all pawns and randomly select one. That player goes first and play proceeds clockwise.
Eliminate. It's not you. Who's going first? You are.
On your turn, 4 steps. You check for exposure, which again we don't have to do this time. Do 4 actions, draw 2 cards, infect cities, the same as normal. It should be noted that there are a couple of free actions, pick up supplies and transfer supplies. They're not like event cards. You can only do them when you could do an action. They don't cost you an action, but you only do them during your action step, basically. The event cards you can still basically do whenever you feel like it.
Okay.
Hand size is 7. So I turn check for exposure, which we don't have to do. Do 4 actions. So the movement actions are drive ferry to an adjacent action. Sure. Sail, discard a card to move to the city named on the card, provided you can trace a sea route to it. Both locations will have an anchor symbol. So like I have Lagos in my hand. If I wanted to, I could just discard Lagos and swoop right along to Lagos. Charter boat. Discard the city card that matches your current city to move to any location, provided you can trace a sea route to it. It should be noted that you cannot do the sail and charter boat actions over land. We hope you understand why. So there are no direct flights that aren't sea lanes.
Discard a card to move the city on the name.
Yeah, move to the name or discard the name
Oh, okay,
where
move
you're
it.
at to go anywhere you want to that you can vote to. Which is currently anywhere. Other actions, make supplies. Take a supply cube from the stockpile and put it on your character card. You can hold any number of supply cubes. Produce supplies. Discard a produce supplies card while in a haven or supply center to do the produce supplies action. And in the prologue, we can only do the local production, which basically
Fills it up.
yeah, to its current population limit, which is for all cities right now is 3. In the actual game, you can use system-wide production. You fill all havens and supply centers to the population. Then you put a check mark on the card. If the card is full of check marks, it pulls up.
Yeah.
If there aren't enough supply cubes in stockpile to fill locations to their populations, put as many as you can in any order you like. You can deliver supplies. Put as many supply cubes as you like from your character card into your location, and that's something the farmer does. On your turn, when doing the make supplies action, you can immediately deliver for free once in your turn. So make a cube and then drop as many as you want.
Yeah.
As one flow. Share knowledge. Give or take matching city cards if you're in the same town.
You're not me.
Build supply center, aka how to win the game. Discard 5 cards matching your current city's color. Take a supply center and place it into that city. It will last for the rest of the game. If there are no more available, move an existing supply center to your location instead. Each city can have only one supply center.
Sure.
And
Do you have to do one for every color?
No, we just need to have 3.
Seems good.
Recon, which we cannot do in the prologue, but that's how we expand the map.
Okay.
You need either like this to recon from Lagos. You need 5 unique yellow cards, and I don't know if there are 5
No,
unique
they're
yellow
not.
cards right now. Yeah. So there's only. So the first recon is going to be from Washington. We can use any 3 blue cards because that's the only one that can happen, or any 4 yellow cards down here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because these need to be unique, those need to be, and this needs to be unique, and they don't exist.
That's insane.
Although there are like some upgrades we can put on cards later on that make them worth more for other things, abilities. But again, we can't do it in the prologue, so it's not really a thing we have to worry about.
Yeah.
Unless otherwise stated, there must be a supply center in that city to the recon. From a supply center, from a supply center, from a supply center, from a supply center, from a supply center. So first you have to build the thing, then you can expand from it.
Sure. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Again, free actions. As a free action, you can pick up supplies from your location to your card, and transfer supplies from player to player in the same city.
Sure.
And that's the thing I can do without someone needing to be in my city. I just
You're holding 3 blues, aren't you?
The 3 yellow.
3 yellows,
3 yellows. Okay.
which is still 3. Yeah.
Which will be 4.
You have Sao Paulo, and you have another Sao Paulo. So party in Sao Paulo.
I mean, that was not my plan, but sure.
Let's
Well, you don't need to be in Sao Paulo. You just hand it off because you pass.
Yeah.
But
see.
all right. So and then there's also going to be some more free actions coming down the road at some point, and a whole bunch of other new actions. If you've looked, the action cards on the back are full of blank spaces.
Like they were last time too.
Then you draw 4 cards in the same usual way. If you draw an epidemic card, shit happens. The infect, for our purposes now, is draw the bottom card, remove all the supply cubes from the city, and put them in the stockpile.
Yeah.
You do not add a play cube from the bottom card. But you might, because you shuffle it back on top of the deck.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to Cairo first as a note.
Playing an event card is not an action. Stand limit of 7 cards. Infections, those are all fairly straightforward. Incidents, anytime the play cube enters the board, we can almost put these on those things.
Yeah.
Outbreaks, chain reactions is still a thing that can happen. So game end. You win the game as soon as you complete the necessary number of objectives, which must include all mandatory objectives. We only have the 1 this time. The multiple ways for the game to end in a loss. When the incident marker reaches the last space of the incident track, aka when we run into the green cubes. And if you cannot draw 2 cards from the deck. And then there's also another way to lose, but we don't have that yet. Win or lose, return all city infection cards, and then go to a series of game end steps, which we would use to upgrade things if we weren't in the prologue. And then track your campaign, same as normal. Exposure, scars, and death, we don't need to worry about right now. Just a clarification, using abilities, you must be able to use all of an ability in order to activate it, whether on a card or a character. So if you can't do everything written on whatever it says you're doing, you can't do it.
Sounds good.
Like you can't, if there are no supplies in the stockpile and you had a card that lets you add supplies to the board, you can't do that just to get it out of your hand. Commonly overlooked rules, do not draw a replacement card if you draw an epidemic. On your turn with a shared knowledge action, you may take a card from another player if you're both in the city that matches that card. Hail element applies at all times. Location can contain any number of supply cubes. Population just is affected by the previous supply action. Taking notes and looking at cards, sure. Anything that's face up is public. Anything that's not is not, unless you have something that says otherwise. What happens if we mess up? Don't fret it.
That's where we record it.
Alright. Prologue, rationing for day played. Today is the 7th.
Yep.
Players and characters. I'm on V. James is on
H. AECH.
and Ray is on A. Win or lose remains to be seen.
I mean, if you lose this, I'm gonna be upset. Fair,
I mean,
Asley.
We'll know sooner or later. Alright, so you're going to Cairo.
Yeah, that's not plan. My plan is to resupply Cairo.
Um,
Actually, Yeah, because we have 2 on Cairo. I don't really want the plate keepers to drop there.
Alright, so I'm going to make 2 supplies. 2 actions. I will transfer supplies. Here, you can have these for free.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna pick up the ones in Jamesistan, but
I mean, that's also a free action. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can do right now. So,
well, you
and
want
then I'm going to move to Lagos
why Lagos?
because oh wait, it's Sao Paulo.
It's
I knew it was a yellow one. So I would just hang out down here in South America.
is your ability free?
No, he spent an action.
So we can build the yellow place, or we can build a yellow place on your turn.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because Ray goes, drops.
Alright, so I draw a produce supplies card, and I draw a ration event, resilient population. Move 1 or 2 copies of a specific city in the infection discard pile to the game end area. Interesting. Alright, flip 2.
Sao Paulo. London.
Alright. You're up, Ray. Yeah, it's weird that there's no, like, pressing.
Yeah.
See, that's still considered as a ferry, right?
Yeah, that's a dry ferry. So 1, 2, no, the other. Oh,
What's hand limit?
7. Which I would just brush up against. But I have a ration event, so.
I think you go to Jacksonville, right?
Is that step 1 continuous, or is it
That's 2 steps.
3 and 4?
Yeah.
Ray draws Cairo.
First black card.
And New York. And then flips. Jacksonville. Why is it always the one we go to?
Washington.
What used to be the East Coast of the United States is running low on supplies.
That's a free action.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Three. Yeah, you can deliver any number. Listen to your 4th action. Give me that card.
I can't. I have to be in the same space as you.
Oh, right.
That's the problem. Like, I can dump this summer, but so I draw Lagos. Another produce supply. Sao Paulo. And Tripoli. Yours. I think you go busy Ray, take Ray's card, and then build the place, right?
It's not 4 actions. Epidemic's coming. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see a better option. Because it takes 3 actions for me to get to you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or, you can. That's only function in your turn.
Yeah. As an action, give any player 1 card.
Okay. So yeah, 1, 2. Take Jacksonville from Ray. That's 3. 4 is Supply Center Jackson.
Down there.
That's 1. And that's the good news.
You draw first.
I draw the Epidemic as expected, and I draw another Team Bravo. So first things first, increase what gets blitzed.
New York.
This is everything. Move back on top. Before we do that though, do you want to use the resilient population?
What's it do?
Move 1 or 2 copies of a specific city in the infection card pile into the game end area.
Do we want to take out New York?
Yeah. Like if there are the 2 copies of New York.
Yeah.
Alright. That was in the game end area.
Let you shuffle.
So double Tripoli or double Sao Paulo or double Washington.
Oh,
double anything is a problem.
Yeah.
No, I see.
Boom.
I'm sitting there looking at these as being the colors instead of the inkers being the colors.
Yeah.
Tripoli. Motherfucker, Tripoli.
Alright, well, that's our first play cube.
Alright, so that was Chris's turn.
It was. Take your turn first, Ray, and then we'll discuss whether or not we want to use Team Bravo.
I would like your last action to be to drag me over to you. Or to Chris, or... I'd like to be near where you are.
Ray's building blue, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks that way.
Yeah, and I have a blue.
You should come to me, because I'm at a supply center and you can use your produce supplies cards.
Oh, you're right, okay.
Like, Ray can, like, at the risk of exposing Jacksonville, he can pick up that cube and take it to somewhere else.
I mean, how many Jacksonvilles have... 2 Jacksonvilles have come up.
Correct. 2 Jacksonvilles, 2 Sao Paulos, 2 Washingtons, 2 Londons, 1 Lagos.
But New York's not going to come back.
Right, I didn't say, did I say New York? You can make one.
Make one.
As long as you didn't shuffle this so they're multiple doubles in a row.
I mean, there's only so much to work with.
I mean, I know.
Actually, that's free, right?
Yeah, picking them up is free.
As long as you're there.
These will never.
So,
So,
2,
two.
3, well, 2 free.
That's 2 actions.
Yeah. So you can go somewhere and drop them off as your last, or go somewhere and drop them off and then can't move G's.
1, 2. 1, 2, 3. I can get over to you, Chris, but I can only give you 1 card. I can get over to Ray. Where were you planning to drop them off, Ray? Like, where do we think we need to go?
Like, Jacksonville, Sao Paulo, Washington, London are the ones that are in danger. Even then, we probably have a chance. Again, the problem is if they come up doubles again.
I mean, they kill a double, no problem.
You don't have to drop them all off, right?
No, you can drop
with
them.
them as you want.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to say which one might. This one.
Like, or you can just stay out there and be positioned to get to where you need to go next turn.
If you're going to do that, drag me over.
Yeah, that's why I should, like, unite them.
No, to you.
To me?
To you.
Oh.
Why? Oh,
So I can give him the blue.
sure.
And I can go over to you and give you the...
But then what's his last action?
That's his last action.
Well, now that's the third action.
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
can
Because
take
picking
turn.
up is free.
Well, make, move... Oh, yeah, he does have one
make
more.
make move.
I can get the
unite.
card for you.
Do it with him. No, you can't get the card off me. You have. I can give. You cannot take.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go down there.
Drop off 1 cube.
Well, isn't he moving you then?
I can get down there. Takes my entire turn, but I can get down there.
Don't. Like, let him move you. Like, dropping off isn't strictly necessary. Because if we want to right now, we can use Team Bravo to bulwark one of the ones that we think might pop.
True.
Okay.
I think we should hold on to Team Bravo.
And just see if we get going by double. Well, first let Rick go.
Yes.
Black, yellow. No help.
London,
Is the last one there.
Istanbul.
So now London is probably our objective.
Only once on my turn.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I don't.
You're filling it 2-3, right?
Yes, I'm filling it to 3. That's 1. job.
Apparently.
Lagos. Jacksonville. Victory.
Successfully ablated. Alright, so I have a handful of nothing.
Um,
1, 2,
3. Go to London.
yeah. 3. I'm just gonna drop this all here.
Okay.
Draw Jacksonville.
Sure.
Draw Lagos. Hey, drawing all the other cards.
Washington.
Last stop.
London.
Ray.
Chose wisely.
Alright, Ray has got a bunch of extra cards in his hands. He can't get anything useful for me.
He can give me San Paulo.
He can give you a Sao Paulo. For 1. And he can, if he really wants to, he could get a boat to Cairo or Tripoli. That doesn't actually help him get close to where he wants to go, which I'm assuming is Washington.
Yeah, just
Why do you want to go to Washington?
Because that's.
probably good.
Actually, you don't have to. I can team Bravo up Washington if we're that worried about it.
Yeah, I think we should team Bravo Washington.
Do that now so it doesn't make any suspicion. Alright, so you have 3 actions left. That's 2. Yep. 3 and 4.
Oh, sure.
Fair. Alright, you draw an epidemic and a blue card. Goes up. This is the problem. Istanbul loses everything.
Do we have any symbol in there? We have 2 symbols in there.
We do 2 Tripolis, which is the huge problem. Everything else is not. So, yeah. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
That's just every time Tripoli comes up, we get smacked.
That's unfortunate.
So we can't leave any cubes in there.
I don't. No, like even if we. That's an interesting question.
Can we have both? I'd assume we could leave supplies where there's.
I don't see anything about that. Let's see. So there's no supply cube, simply a play cube. Record the incident.
We're gonna need to find out soon.
What's the second one of those?
Lagos.
Record the incident. Yeah, I don't see anything that says we can't do that.
Yep.
So we can give Tripoli supplies and hope that abates. You just can't. Just you don't want to stick around there. You don't want that to be your last action unless you have Ray bailing you out.
As a side note, Ray, wherever you go, be close to blue and use your last action on me.
Yeah, he can only do it on his turn unless you
Yeah, but
actually.
it's his turn.
No, it's yours.
No, he just went.
What did you do?
Oh, you just went? Oh. 1, 2.
So that gives Ray enough to go. He just has to get to Washington, New York.
3.
That's 4. 4 is using this.
3. Draw yellow. Rationed event. Move upon any location. Yellow? It is my job.
Wow. Speaking of your job, what's dying?
Eh.
Ah, jeez.
Sting.
However, we have a third supply thing going up. And where are you?
I am here. You're in Lagos and
I'm
Jacksonville?
in London, yeah. Alright, so the good news is no more Tripoli's coming up until the next epidemic.
Yeah.
Nothing else is Istanbul needs to be taken care of. Wow, that's awful.
I don't care about Istanbul. I care about you getting to either Jacksonville or Lagos, whichever's easiest.
I mean, they're all at least 4 years away. So, that's my first step. That's the only place I can go to from London. I will produce a bunch of supplies here and grab them. Does anybody need them?
No, but I think we can windmill slam it on 1, 2, 3, 4. We can win it on my turn.
Actually, where are you? You're Ray's Harbor, okay. Because you get the flight.
Yeah.
Alright, Ray's gonna get to you. You
Off
know what?
1.
Let me move.
If you can go to Lagos, I can get one of the cards off you. I can get both cards off you, so I'm holding. No, go to Sao Paulo. Because then we can win on your next turn.
That's a long way away.
What's that? It's 2. 1, 2.
No, I mean my next turn is a long way away.
Ray builds 1. I give you everything. You win the game on your first action.
Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Unless I want to use my thing to. Does anybody want supplies?
Ray's turn to come over to a blue and build.
It's going to go for it.
Yeah. It takes Ray his entire turn.
Yes. Alright. I draw One Quiet Night. Oh, really? And I draw a Produce Supplies card.
I think, do we knock it now? Or do we wait for in case the epidemic comes up? I think we hold off for the epidemic.
Yeah. Alright.
Istanbul?
God damn it.
Still don't care. Jacksonville. Ray's turn.
1, 2, 3, 4. New York is
Ding.
Yeah.
Don't hit Ray draws. Epidemic.
There it is. That puts us on 3.
Lagos. And at this point, we
Yeah,
want
we're
to
quieting.
So there are 4 of these hurts.
I mean, one of hers is real bad. Because we're flipping over 3.
Oh, we are. Shit. So we're.
However, we have to fade your turn. 1, 2, 3,
Because 2 of those are Sao Paulo, and then 1 is the free one I get to do.
4.
And I am done. Do we want to lift anyone anywhere?
It's not gonna matter.
Sure. Draw Washington. Draw New York. London.
Alright.
Lagos.
Boo.
Acceptable. Not dead. Jacksonville.
Hooray.
That is easily the best case scenario.
My turn. Build our third supply center in game over.
So just so we know. Fuck, super fuck.
Holy crap. Alright, that's not wow, it takes a while to get your head around that though.
Yeah, that's.
Alright, so we succeeded with our prologue.
Thank God.
And there are still 9 cities on the grid. Savings are not cities. So, in a normal game end scenario, we would adjust populations, which is, I guess, for every play cube in the thing, it goes down one.
So Triple would be in fact dead.
Oh, it's on the back of the game itself. So adjust population. For each location that has at least one play cube, decrease the location population by 1. It only ever goes down by 1.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so all those Tripoli and Istanbul will all gone down in one population.
Sure.
For each that has a supply center, it goes up by 1.
Sure.
We check the legacy deck, see if there's anything there that cares about it. Resolve cards in the game end area. If there are any affection cards in this area, we add them to the affection deck, sure. Review all turning point cards. And we spend production units. So we're going to generate production units. There are currently 9 stations in the grid, so we'd have 3 production units plus 1 for winning. So we would get 4 production units to spend on the game and upgrades. We can increase something's population for a point each. For 2, we can repopulate one that has dropped to 0. For 3, we can get a character ability, or for 1, 2, or 3, depending on how good the ability is, I guess.
Okay.
We'll decide which one of these are traps later. There are city improvement cards. This one counts as 3 cards of its color for the build supply action.
Ooh.
This one counts as 2, counts as 2, counts as 2, counts as 2. So this one's a little bit better than these ones. And then we can modify the infection deck. If this card is in the infection discard pile, any player may discard a player card to destroy this card at any time. Just eat it completely, forever.
That seems.
Like we spend a point and then later on we just eat it. And then another one, if there are 2 or more supply cubes in the city when the card is drawn, do not remove any supply cubes. So those are good. Those are things we'll have to look for down the line.
I feel like those are for in case like we run into someone that just gets raffle stomped. Tripoli.
All right, so we're done with this.
Yes.
Let's find the last 2 academic cards and fish them out.
Tell me what was next.
You passed.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay.
Say, I knew it's in there.
So there are a lot less supply cubes still on the board than I was expecting there to be.
Well, it's because every time you hit an epidemic, one city gets wiped out. That's some harshness. Right, give me like the other cards. Remember, got them in their hands.
Oh,
Put that deck together.
um,
Oh, actually, we should probably. I mean, we can leave the ration events in there for now, but we should fish them out in the future. Sure, space the right way. We will not destroy those yet. Just on the off chance that like Kenny or someone shows up next week and we want to run through the prologue one more time. But when we break the seal on this, we should still in its shrink wrap because it says do not mess with it. We will destroy those cards. All right, that was
less painful than it could have been.
all right.